Alright, what's up guys? Just wanted to do a short update video to my Cold Snap Occultist character. This is the one that I used as my league starter. I put out a video kind of going over my plans initially last week before the league launched. And I've done some changes here and there, adjusted to the league, tried some other things out, and just wanted to show where the build has gotten to so far. So there's two big things. It says it in the title. Swapped from Cold Snap to Vortex and went CI. I would think I would have been CI by now anyway. I've made it to level 96, but switching earlier than intended due to the league and other things. But first up is the swap to using Vortex as the main ability instead of Cold Snap. Initially, I had Cold Snap as the main and like Arctic Breath as the second skill, the kind of utility Bone Chill skill. But over the first few days of the league, I had a lot of people, whole lot of people, asking if I had tried Vortex, and everybody talking about how they enjoyed Vortex, Vortex this, Vortex that. Gave it a try, really enjoyed it as well, most of the time. Most of the time it's really nice. So for the most part, I've been using Vortex as the main skill. You can see it's instant cast, and you can hit it just running around. And then I have Cold Snap and the Vol Cold Snap in my 4-link on my gloves. So the reasons that Vortex works really well, obviously it's instant. It has higher DPS than the Cold Snap, so for a single target on longer fights, it's better damage. And then it's also easier to get a level 21 gem compared to a Vol Cold Snap, which you basically need the Incursion Temple to get, and good luck getting one of those. And which is just even more DPS because it's level 21. But then also, it's very easy to just swap back, and really you can do this with Arctic Breath as well, but whatever skill is your main skill on this build, and whichever one's your secondary, all the support gems never change. I like the setup of the supports. You just swap, so like, if I do a map with less AoE, for example, I don't like the Vortex on the less AoE. It feels a little bit awkward since I don't have a ton of scaling. Or if I do a map with Porcupines, and I don't want to be right on top of them, I usually just swap back to Cold Snap, use Cold Snap for that map, and then switch back afterwards, and it works great. It's really, really nice. So you can do whatever skills you want. Obviously, it still comes down to preference. Some people have said they don't like the getting straight up in melee range with Vortex, and they're just sticking to Cold Snap. But you can do whichever ones you want. And then also, the other change was getting CI a bit earlier than planned. I went at level 88 to CI on my league starter. You can go earlier if you have some gear ready. Like I would always say level 70 at the earliest is my recommendation, but anything past that, once you have the items, you're good. But the reason being, there is a good chunk of chaos damage this league, and it's pretty spooky stuff, and the EB MOM version was kind of vulnerable to it, even with decent chaos res, because it was about 5k to 5500 life, and then the ES guarding the mana. But the chaos damage skips the ES, so you're just like a 5k life build. Even if you have some res, getting into high tier maps, it was going to get real spooky, and I could foresee myself potentially being one-shot, so I swapped out. The benefits of going CI, you're tankier, obviously, you have a real big ES pool, and the DPS is pretty much the same, but you get also the Wicked Ward kind of helps your defense. You have a slightly bigger pool, better with the ES recharge, especially if you can get a Watcher's Eye for ES recharge, which I don't have yet. And then what you lose, the only thing you really lose is a little bit of map clear speed due to losing the Soul Catcher Flask, which was letting me do Vol Cold Snap a lot more often. But since it negates all ways of regenerating mana, I actually use my mana now without EB, so I can run out, and I would run out very quickly. So that flask is gone. That's really the only drawback, though. Everything else works fine, and it's been working really well. I have killed Shaper as of yesterday. I did a red tier Elder as well. I've got all my memory fragments and everything. I've got the Elder's Orb available. I'm not using it yet, but it's doing well. I think it will be hardcore Uber Elder viable with a little more upgrades, which going forward for me, that means try to get a faster recharge Watcher's Eye. I haven't even checked the market yet to see if there's any on hardcore. Get a new helmet, because as nice as the Heretic's Veil is like an entry level kind of thing with the reduced reservation and all that, I want something with more energy shield. I've got an okay one sitting around somewhere. Yeah, this one is 228 ES. Ideally, I would really want like 300 ES, but it also has a reduced mana reserved on it, which I crafted with a bound fossil and a dense fossil. I think you really need that extra reduced mana reservation to kind of pick up where you lose on the heretics, and then some resist. So try to make that swap. I have a couple other things that need to be done for that, and that'll give me some more defense. And then I also have one other swap that I want to do, try out, which should give some more damage, and that is, I can't show it, I don't have it, the new Solstice Vigil amulet that drops from Shaper, which gives you Temp Chains, reserves no mana. So you suddenly have a ton of mana to play with. It gives a little bit of damage as well, and gives the Shaper buff when you kill rares or uniques that makes buffs expire slower. So like your phase run and stuff and your Arcane Surge can last longer while you're mapping, which is cool. But mostly the free Temp Chains, a little bit of damage. And then for that reservation that I suddenly have available, I can put in Aspect of the Spider, which is another boost to damage. And that one should give some more DPS. That one's going to be a little bit trickier to swap to since I'm going to lose a bunch of stats off this amulet. But as of right now, that's my goal. Get the better helmet, get the amulet. We'll get some more ES, some more damage. And if I get there, we'll see where it ends up. Yeah, before I go, though, I have one more thing to touch on because I've crafted a pretty damn nice scepter for this character. I found what I think was a really good combo for it. And it's a lot easier to get now because they fixed the prophecy chains, which is where the multi-mod was gated behind. But since people will probably ask anyway, the strategy I used for this is similar to the BV foils I made last couple leagues, but it's a bound fossil for the minion damage, a pristine fossil for the damage on full life, and then a corroded fossil, which I don't care about the poison stuff, but it blocks all elemental mods. And you do that in a 3-socket. When it blocks all the elemental, it makes it more likely to hit the 2 mods you want. And I did that a bunch of times. And anytime I got like decent minion damage in the full life, I would annul it until I hit one that I had only those 2 stats left. And then I did this multi-mod that you can see. It's not cheap. It's pretty straightforward. You just fossil combo, annul, repeat until you're at the 2 mod weapon. It's easy, but it's expensive, and it's a really, really strong weapon. You can see if I take it off, I have 96,000 tooltip dot, and I put it on, it goes all the way up to 143k, and it's also triggering my socketed spells when I use skills, which I have Stormbrand for EE and LE Overload. I have Frostbomb, and then I have Orb of Storms again for EE and LE Overload. So all 3 of those are kind of just getting cycled by the weapon, which is really, really nice. And yeah, that's where the build is. That's how we're doing right now. Gonna try to push it a little bit further before moving on to the next thing. But hope the video helped for anybody playing this build and wondering what to do next. Yeah, thanks guys for watching. See you in the next video. Later.